Life can be a crazy ride, but it's a privilege when you have a partner to go through it. Starting your marriage right. What is the right way? What is the ideal way? How do you start it right? And when you did not start it right, is there an opportunity for you to do it right? Welcome to Family Times, and this is what we are discussing today. And today, we are privileged to have the Oumas with us. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to our viewer.
Yeah. My name is Richard Ouma, and I'm happy to be here. I welcome you to our program today. This is Tabitha Ouma. Tabitha, say something to our viewer.
Thank you for introducing me. Hello, viewer. Thank you for watching. Continue to be with us.
And this is Linda. Linda, say something to the viewer.
Hi viewer, welcome once again, and God is still in the business of just getting to know and understand you. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about starting your marriage right. Could be the question is, which way is right? Richard,
We need to start
which way
with
is
what
right?
Marriage.
Which way is right? It's not easy to define, but we need to find that level, place, and all that, which makes our marriage right. Personally, I believe that starting it right means starting it with God. Always having God in the marriage. He is the institutor of of marriage. And therefore, when he is involved right from the beginning, then marriage becomes right.
And then after starting with God, you have to be friends with that person, with your partner. You marry your friend, you're good. Because a friend means you have known this person, you understand this person. Once this is your friend, you'll be able to understand and communicate with the person.
So in this context, we are talking about marriage.
Yes.
Union between two opposite gender.
A male and
Yes.
a female.
Male and female.
Male and female.
Yes, so that could be the first right start.
That's
Yes.
true.
Then the second right, the first right start, of course, we begin with God.
Yes.
Because I believe, and this I can say that before I met her, I prayed.
Yeah.
So God first. Then now, male and female.
That's right.
What next? So what is this marriage? I mean, is it a process? Is it an event? What entails marriage? Because now we are talking about starting it right.
Who wants to go first?
Huh?
Go first.
I mean, it's just a union. Yes. It's because it's something that you get to understand and to know each other. I can call it a process. Yeah, I can call it a process.
Process.
It's an act of the male and the female coming together in agreement to live as husband and wife. Then that becomes marriage. People who can live but are not married.
Yes.
And when I say not married, it's not because they're not living together. For me, that living together is the biggest act, rather, of a marriage. But there are those who just live. They come in, they say, it's not cohabiting. What do you call it? What's the right time?
Can we stay?
People, we just agree, come we stay, kind of thing. And marriage is not in their mind.
Right.
They are living together but independently. They are not married. The agreement of getting married has not been taken. That position and the decision has not been made, because marriage requires to be seen. You want people who can witness to your marriage. You need to come out and declare a marriage, so that it is known that the two of you are in union as husband and wife. Yes.
And when God was creating, by the way, we can use the Bible as our guide. When God says a man shall leave his father and mother, the two shall come together and be joined. and they be one. So it's an act and it's a process. Yeah.
I'm picking a statement that Linda's made. They shall come together and be joined. And that, you know, opens a wide window for a lot of discussion and input. Joined by who?
Exactly. What time? What point?
Yes.
Because to me, my thinking is a marriage goes with another word, wedding. So
That's what we
so when I say we want to get married,
Right.
or rather we are married, then someone would ask you, when did you when did you get married?
Even as you come up with the word marriage, I mean wedding. There are weddings, in our mother tongue we say kendmaler. It means a clean or righteous marriage. Yes, a clean marriage is that. But when is a marriage clean, or when is marriage there for dirty?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Because being joined or made to be husband and wife, who makes you to be husband and wife? It's you to decide. You are the one who agrees to do that.
When you made a decision and decided that you want to be one, I think that's already a marriage.
When you make a decision and decide.
The two of you.
Yeah.
So you've made a decision that you want to come together.
Yes.
That's marriage.
But it has to, you know, you just don't wake up with Dave and say, you know what, we have decided today we are getting married and that's
No,
it.
there is something that I'm trying to put.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I decide, he decides, we come together, we are joined. The act of being joined is already marriage.
I think that is the example that Richard was
He asked who joins, and
exactly.
then I threw in spanner into the works, and then I asked when.
Yes.
So
when.
the idea of a wedding comes in, and we are in a African setup.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is a lot that goes with that. So there's also dowry that comes in.
Yes.
So I want us to bring in dowry in this marriage and a wedding too.
Yes.
Yes.
Customarily, you are married when you have given the dowry, and the dowry has been accepted.
That's a wedding already, from the custom. Yeah.
Yeah, that is traditional.
Yeah.
I'm a Luo, so I'm talking in traditional Luo culture. I'm not considered a husband to somebody's daughter before I've taken some 2, 3, 4, 500 cows. But once I do that, then I'm now respected as a son-in-law. Now my marriage is acceptable, and it is ratified, it is real. When the animals have walked into this home where my wife comes from. That is customarily, that is traditionally. And why do we say traditionally? Because there are other forms of marriages which may not be similar to the one I've gone through.
And just to confirm that there are 5 types according to the Marriage Act. We have the civil marriage, we have Hindu, Muslim, customary, and Christian. Yes, you've just talked about customary. And in this case, we would probably talk more of civil, customary, and Christian. So then, does it mean that once that is done, by the way, I once attended a funeral where I accompanied a friend of mine to his in-laws. He was not given a chance to speak because he had not taken dowry
cows
to his the wife's place. Yes, so he was told, you're just friends.
Yeah. There's a way the society treats you or recognizes marriage or associates marriage with some things.
And it depends on the setup that you're in. Yes. To some, taking the 3, 4, 5 cows that's it. To others, you have to walk down the aisle.
That's true.
Yes. To others, it's a legal document.
Right.
When Christian
to others,
marriage,
it's just a blessing from the parents and you're good to go.
Christian marriage may demand that you have to do a wedding. So that your wedding is conducted by a pastor, a Christian notary, I mean somebody from the church.
That is the point
many
where they say, by the
times,
powers given unto me by the state and the church.
yes.
Yes.
But many times you go into this, and this is where the man is equally asked if he has sent in the cows. Now that's already a mixture.
The Christian and the customary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do they go together, or what happens?
Yeah, you find the pastor is always like, hey, but the pastor asks in a very clever way, do you have consent from the parents?
In other
Yes,
words,
yes.
Have you taken
the dowry?
You
Yes.
know, like
That is from just like we
in the
mentioned.
Luo traditional one. Have you done the traditional thing before you come for the Christian thing?
Right.
And we started by saying that you need God into this.
Yeah.
So who precedes who?
And if you
Or
do
what
the
precedes
customary,
what?
if you do the customary, you don't have any certificate to sign. So
Of course.
And
Yeah.
does it mean that when I don't have any certificate, I'm not married?
That's a good question.
The Constitution, as said, recognizes that man.
traditional,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But when we dismiss this marriage based on the fact that we don't have any
Certification.
document
Yeah.
Yes.
showing that we are married, does it mean that our union is nullified or looked down upon?
No, I don't think so. I think that must be respected and must be and should be recognized as it is constitutionally.
Yeah.
Yes. Can parents therefore, for example, complain and say, no, you're not married to our daughter because you didn't give us A, B, C, D, E, and they may want to take her away? Or can my parent come and say, you're our son, because you didn't take this dowry to Tabitha, then this marriage is null and void? I don't think that will disqualify the marriage per se. And you can correct it if that is what it goes by, by actually rushing and taking those cows that are needed there so that you get the consent from the parent. I think the trouble would be the consent. They never gave it. You see, in the church, even when you have done that, the parent is still asked, you know, in the middle in the center of the church, who is giving this lady to this gentleman? You know, and so they speak it, but they had already taken your cows. Whether they were coming or not may not be necessary or important, but they still have to speak it there. So we are justifying the traditional within the Christian. The challenge is, if you haven't done any of these ones, and as Christians, where therefore do we sit?
Exactly.
And again, Richard, if I may ask a question for a viewer who is in my WhatsApp group. Now, what if this person, let me say, if this man doesn't have enough money to even give the dowry or do that wedding? Which position, how are we going to be treated in the society?
I think the church also recognizes that there are people who are not able financially. So they are very cheap. Like if you do, like the church that I belong to, the Seventh Day, you can do a Sabbath wedding, which is very affordable. All you need to have is a witness, and you know, once you get a witness and the pastor is there, you get your document. So it's not like an expensive wedding. You won't even need so much money.
But Tabi, the confusion now comes in when now the officiating minister asks you, asks the gentleman, the young man, have you gone to the lady's place?
If we've also had such cases where, for instance, if you're not able to pay the dowry according to your culture, you meet with your in-laws and discuss and talk about it. I personally know a few people who haven't really taken the dowry, and the parents are believers. They're like, you know what, it is all right, provided you can live peacefully. We can always do this later. So most people get the pressure of you have to have so much money to pay the dowry and to do a wedding, and they end up doing the wrong things.
So there are two huge events that have to happen before now we can call this marriage. One, dowry, which is not little money.
Right.
I think the least form of dowry, I don't know, maybe, I don't want to estimate. Then there is also the wedding that comes with a lot of money. So then how do we now advise that young man and that young woman who are maybe planning for their wedding, and they are like, I mean, let's just postpone this for the next 2 years.
Come and we stay and...
Because not before they go that direction, let's just postpone this next 2 years so that we can have the right money to do this.
Dave, if we go by God's constitution, if we go by God's writing, the first example of a marriage, not a wedding, took place in Eden. Yes. True or false?
It's true.
That's where we are told Adam and Eve were together, right? Nothing preceded their union. I'm not sure if there's any record in the Bible which says that Adam had to look for some cows to give to God. I mean, this union was justified. And justified by what? By God himself.
Right.
He approved it. He brought them purposefully for their union. If we are to advise anybody who wants to get into marriage, we want to say, I want to advise, and this is a personal thing, by what does this person or these two want to get married? Traditionally, they want to do it by Christian, whichever way they want to. Let them fulfill the requirements according to the way they want to get married. Because these are things that man has brought into these things. For me, I don't have a daughter, to be honest. I don't know if I would really demand that my daughter must be paid for. Probably Tabitha would.
We have two. I don't know whether you'll ask for that.
It's too early to talk about it now. It's still too early.
But you see whatever happens.
My take is this, if I may finish. My position would be God first. And if God first, then these things are not first. I wouldn't mind my daughter getting married without the dowry. Because that's my decision as a Christian. I don't have an example to follow from the Bible which says that this must be done. And even if it were to be done in the later parts of the Bible, it will not be God's really ideal. Because God has not given us an example of that. But I had to do that. Did I take dowry to her place? Yes, I did. I did that. And it was accepted. Because that was the norm in the way I wanted to get married. I went the cultural way. And I had to do that. So you want to get married, go the way you want to go in terms of your belief.
As long as you put God first,
yes,
God is there before you in everything. I think he will lead you.
You talked about this young man who wants to get married and does not have money. In English, there's a saying that you cut your cloth according to your size. And most of the times we want to do things to please others who don't really care. Just the fact that Dave did a huge wedding does not automatically mean that I also have to do a huge wedding. Probably Dave took a loan. Probably Dave was gifted.
And he's still repaying after 3-4 years.
Yes, every wedding is unique and every wedding is beautiful. Yours, however small you plan it to be, it will still be beautiful. So unless you also believe, number one, God, and believe in yourself. If you two agree and say, hey, you know what, it's not about others, it is about our budget. And there's life after that wedding. Yes, there's life after that wedding. So you do that small thing after, of course, whatever you agree, both of you, and life continues.
Okay.
Yes, I think all these things that come into marriage are really far-fetched.
True.
Marriage is about two individuals, male and female, agreeing, talking, whatever manner, made us make a decision to come together. All these cattle we might want from our daughter, for our daughter-in-laws or father-in-laws, whose are they supposed to be, first of all? These are God's. And God gives us all these things we need, including women, and wives and husbands. So if this were to be taken to God, fine, we can allow that and that we accept. But if that is not the essence of that, somebody would like me to justify my marriage by actually seeing that I've taken these many cows to Tabitha's home. The parents want that. I do that. If I have a daughter and the husband is ready to come with the cows because they want to call it appreciating me, what do I do to appreciate their son who is marrying my daughter?
Yeah.
You know, there is this skewed way of observing things for the purpose of calling it marriage.
I like that.
Yes, he's ready to take my
They
daughter.
want me to appreciate her. Who is going to appreciate me?
Yes,
you
who's
become part of
appreciating
our
me?
family, so that's also appreciation.
How? But in some, by the way, in some cultures, you allow me to use this word. You are milk to the core.
Yeah, true. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and at times you ask yourself, the lady is the one who has been so much valued. What about the man? Someone tells you, our daughter has gone to the university and reached this place. And this man also has gone to school.
In the same
what
institution.
happens?
So
yeah.
I was nilikuwa nasoma nyuma ya kitabu.
No, maybe
so
maybe you guys next time you get good spokesperson or spokesperson.
You can take for free.
No, but
That's
happens.
Can you take for free?
No, you can't.
You can't.
Now,
because your marriage is not recognized. You have to give her something.
Now, something more interesting. We've talked about the customary, the civil, and even the Christian.
Yes.
But now let's narrow it down to Christian and customary. Because at the end of the day, I have a feeling that at the end of the day, these two have some weight.
They do.
A child comes before all this is done.
Right.
What happens to this couple? Are they married in the first place?
Wow. They are not married.
What is married then?
They are not married.
What is married then?
Do we go back
Both
to
ways. We are looking at the Christian way and we are looking at the cultural way.
They just have a child.
So they are not married.
They're not.
Yeah.
They
They're not
haven't gone to see.
Culturally, you have not sent your cattle or goats, whatever they are, they want. The Christian way,
But
that's
before
fornication. That is not marriage because the two of you are
haven't
not
even gone
living
before God.
together.
It's
It's such a difficult. It's such a difficult thing. It's not an easy one, to be honest. Yes. Where are you considered married? Because if you go to church, well, you have the church, you're free to come in and worship.
Yes.
But there could be limits. And there would be limits. She can't do this, she can't do that, she can't do this, he can't do this. Why? Because you haven't done your wedding.
Remember, both of them are probably from the same church.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now that even that makes the definition simpler, but makes the matters worse.
Very difficult because this is the Richard you have known who has been dealing with the choir, has been training the choir. This is the Tabitha who has been in the choir or has been doing other things in the church. Now because the two have decided to get married without telling the pastor that we are doing that now, or telling the church eldership and the whole church, now what we are doing is so wrong. Wrong that even though we are Christians, we have to go back and be rebaptized because we have sinned.
Yes.
I didn't know that marriage is sinful. I've never known that. Marriage is marriage. And it's from God. Why must I go back to be baptized? Because I have sinned.
Yes.
Yeah, I think when you have such a situation, just follow what the church manual says. You know, you can go back
Stick
and
it there, yes.
Yeah, go and get rebaptized and, you know, be in the right books.
And what if you get rebaptized and you can't do the wedding?
But does it therefore...
Where will they still hold you?
Why must it come to a place where it is now putting you against the God you have known and you are worshipping, that now you are limited to what you can do in the church?
Did these two, first of all, even, which word should I use? During the process of this, you know, there is a process of the baby coming.
Yeah.
There is some intercourse between these two.
Yeah.
What was the motive?
I believe it was not to have a baby. That is definitely fornication. And fornication is wrong.
It's a sin.
Yeah, it is a sin. And there is no sin that cannot be forgiven.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes, there is no sin that cannot be forgiven. Only blasphemy. But when you go back to God, sincerely, we all have sinned in one way or the other. Some are public, some are private. So go back to God and ask for forgiveness and do the right thing.
But does it always happen?
What?
Like in church, when something like that happens to me and I'm still single, how will you treat me?
Well, it's not about others. Yeah, that's true. I know that.
That's what that's what on the.
But I think we need to move from what will people say, and just because it's salvation is between you and your God. People might look at Tabitha and have that whatever the way Tabitha is a sinner and everything, but between you and your God, you know best.
Yeah,
so,
we are coming to that question, and I think it's a very fundamental. What happens when now it has happened? We already have a child. What happens to us? Stay tuned for more.
Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. To God be the glory, great things He hath done.
Music is an amazing language.
Without music, life will be a mistake.
One thing that has helped me remember scripture is music.
So we worship God because He is the creator.
He is the creator.
But music is a tool. It's actually an atomic bomb for communicating and breaking down barriers.
The Sabbath is just the seventh day which God rested and made holy.
Take time to be holy.
Worship began in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth.
So what is the book of Revelation about?
Jesus Christ.
We are reminding ourselves that time is of the essence.
If we love God, then we ought to obey His commandments. John 14:15.
Let all things now living sing a song of thanksgiving. Let all things that have breath praise the Lord, for His worthy. Come everyone and join in breath of praise.
Every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on Hope Channel, Kenya.
We are talking about starting your marriage right. And just in case you're joining us, welcome. And we've talked about the right way, the customary way, the Christian way. We have even asked ourselves, what is this marriage? Thanks to these beautiful ladies and handsome gentlemen here that we have talked about some of this. Just before we went for the break, we were talking about a child that has come, and this is not marriage. By all definition, it is fornication. And now, they're asking themselves, which way? What do we do?
Well, either you legalize it, summarily or traditionally, you take the dowry so that it is recognized and accepted as a marriage. Yeah, that to me is what you need to do. Yeah, there is no end to it because a child has been born out of this marriage, or you want to call it wedding, out of wedlock. The child remains innocent for me. There's no sin by the child, nothing wrong. The child is a product of the father and the mother, not necessarily husband and wife. So you are in this situation, the right thing to do is legalize your marriage. Let it be legal. Traditionally, as a Christian, let it be official. Let it be acceptable. If there are challenges in terms of what you can give to the family, and I mean traditionally, although the Christian one these days also demands that you do that and prove before everybody that you have done, but if you have to do it in the traditional way, then do it so that it is then accepted as a legal marriage. Because when a child is born, before these two people have come together, and coming together here doesn't mean going to bed. No. It includes that, but it's not the only definition of the union of two. The union of two makes the two into one to live as husband and wife responsible for each other. Yes.
Okay.
Not kwa kuiba out there, officially, you know, and it is a known thing. Then that is what it is. Legalize it. Make it legal traditionally or lawfully, whichever way.
Okay. Now let's now bring it closer home.
Yeah.
And when I say closer home, I'm also getting closer because this is where now the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
We are all Christians.
Yes.
We come from a Christian setup.
Yeah.
There is, I don't want to call them a couple, or rather, let me start with this. I did not go the Christian way, and I am a Christian in church. So, are there limits to me or to the two of us as a couple in church? Are there limits?
In practice, it seems there is. Yes, because this is being practiced. That the Christian way, firstly, we probably need to know what is the Christian way. What is marriage by Christian way? Is it the wedding and the wedding only? Or the Christian way means getting to be prayed for by someone, and probably not necessarily a pastor,
An elder?
an elder, or anyone within the church. Can Dave call Richard to come and pray for us? We want to get married. You know,
no.
But the Christian way, therefore, is it the prayer or is the wedding? I know there is a prayer in the wedding. Yes, but must it come through the wedding? That is when it is a Christian way.
No, it doesn't have to come through a wedding. It can be through a pastor or an elder. That is recognized.
Okay.
In the church, yeah.
So,
At least, for instance, if you cannot do a wedding now, a pastor can come and pray with you, or yes, with you, right? And then you formalize it later, if you cannot afford it.
How often does this scenario happen? I'm not disputing that that happens, but you know, most of the time, let's go with what happens. Then now we bring in this story of two people who probably before they were not Christians, but now they have decided to come back. Yes, Linda?
At times what happens in our churches, where we worship, people will treat you differently. They will just try and seclude you, and you look like a sinner. I have a friend of mine who has gone through a lot, by the way. She got a baby out of...
Confirm to them that this is now a real friend, you know.
Yeah, you can't get pregnant, you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this lady...
But we can get pregnant.
Yes. So this lady got a child out of wedlock. Then, she's a church member. When it's reached the days where people pray in other people's home, it's called a week of prayer or something like that.
that is in the SDA church?
Yeah, in the SDA church.
Okay.
That lady was not visited.
Why?
Then she's in church, but then she's just in
Because
church.
she got a baby
you're just a sinner. Yeah, and then this lady, she's been just praying, and she came to church. She came back to church, but the way people are treating her, people are just looking at her like, you're not a sinner. Even when she comes to church, people don't want to greet her. They don't want even to associate with her. But I think whatever some of us are doing, it's like we are treating other people like it's so unforgiving.
I think
that's it. Yeah?
I'm not disputing what Linda has said, but I think that could be 1 in a million cases. It's always in order. I mean, we are all sinners, and that's why Christ came to die for us. And why do we even want people to come, especially elders and pastors, to come and pray with us? It's because we need that those prayers.
Tabi, they could be this one. This case, I think, has just been amplified.
Yeah.
But there is something under.
Yeah.
Yes, there is this stigma that goes under. Someone tells you, or there are
some works
in some circumstances, there are things you can't do.
You can't serve God.
This is the community of Christians, but you feel ignored, you feel, left out. You are not treated like any other common Christian in your space, in your church. It's a challenge.
You feel
but
lost.
We have a friend who got, I'm referring to you, Tabitha, because I know you should know. I also have a friend. And you should know this friend.
Okay.
These two decided to get married. They went to the church pastor, and the pastor advised that was going to send an elder to pray for them. And an elder is sent and goes there and does a prayer. The prayer of union, bringing this lady and this man into marriage, officially sent by the pastor, known by the pastor, the go-ahead was given for the elder to come into this house. Then after that has happened, they come back to church, very happily married. Then they are told, now you are not going to lead the Sabbath school, you are not going to do this, you are not going to do that, you are going to do that, because you got married.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, which marriage is sinful then? And why the purpose of what is the purpose of taking you back into baptism?
And treating you
justified by the pastor, approved by the pastor.
These two people have not done anything?
No, they have only got married. What is the problem with that? Why must lines now be drawn that you can't eat this orange, you can only eat this lemon? You can't eat a banana, you can only
have to
this.
call a pastor to help us out with that.
It happens.
You know, it shakes your Christianity. My position is, this makes people sometimes just lose it completely.
And just go.
They can go out of church. If a pastor has given the go-ahead and sent me an elder to pray for me, to begin a marriage with God, because I'm doing a Christian one, but it was not a wedding, then how do I now become somebody who deserves to be taken for?
Maybe
I think we need
there was
Jesus.
an assumption that now that you guys have called in a pastor and he sent an elder, there was something that prompted you to now say, now let's get now married. Because, you know, in some instances, this is a church wedding.
Yes.
And, you know, people have this funny way of looking at you after wedding. They start counting months. Month 1, month 2. Then the 3rd month of your wedding, they see that there is something. The lady has begun growing.
Glowing.
Growing.
Growing.
Growing bigger.
Yes.
Yeah, you know,
because there is someone else.
Married women grow by men.
Then the 4th month, it is now obvious that there was something before the wedding.
Yes.
Yes. So there is also this aspect of the church, you know, taking a cushion on that, because ideally it should be 9 months after the wedding.
Yes.
Then now you can deliver a child.
Yes.
But this happens in less than 9 months, so it means that there was something before.
Yeah.
Oh, so therefore what would it be? What would it be? Was it that you sinned before you got married?
Right.
Exactly.
And therefore you need to remain a sinner?
Sanitized.
And you shouldn't marry because you're a sinner? Or what is the issue?
So the wedding took place already when you had already...
Before you
I don't know whether to call it fornication.
In other words,
it was fornication because that was before.
So,
and this is according to the Christian culture.
Yeah.
Of course, not even to the Christian. According to the Bible, that is fornication. It should not happen before marriage. Yes.
So
I was just maybe I was
supposed to be crucified.
No, we have like the church manual that we are supposed to follow.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But Dave, who has the measurmeter for measuring whether this man who is getting wedded today has never had, you know, never slept with this lady?
No,
because that is the sin. If we talk about the sin, then that would be the sin. But simply because there has not been any growth here or here, then this one now is clean.
Okay.
Come on.
That now brings us to what we call premarital counseling.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because there is so much about this, and we want to encourage even the young men and women who want to get married to go for this. So
very true.
What are some of these? You know, premarital counseling would help us to avoid so many things.
It entails a lot, and at least you get someone who has an experience who can tell you 1 or 2, 3 things before you get into it. So you are rather prepared to see the changes that will happen in life.
And this is your spiritual leader who's going to guide you and also help you pray, because hey, you're two people who have, you know, never lived together. He's preparing you. So that's why Christian marriages is also very important, because before you do your wedding, you have that counseling part that is going to prepare you, which most people, especially if you do the customary, long time ago, I'm told my parents, they had their grandmothers, that is my great-grandma, would sit down with my aunties and talk to them on how to, you know, behave a certain way, how to cook food. But right now we do not have it. So the advantage of having the Christian
bridal showers. Nowadays, it's at least
with bridal showers,
but the men are the ones who are getting the raw deal. They don't have that.
Bridal shower is not like 100% because it's just a 2-minute thing. But you know, with counseling, it takes some time. It takes it even takes 6 months. So that is enough.
Counseling is very important.
Yes,
I think it precedes everything else.
Right.
Yeah, it precedes everything else. A decision to get married, once that has come up, you two want to get married, and we are hoping you are clean up to then. Not that in the sense that you... But you know, here, because we have not seen it, we believe you are, and you have been chaste up to that time. So now you're getting ready for marriage. You are expected to be together at given times. You probably will be walking together, you will be going out, in and out together. So you need to keep yourself in a certain place until the vows are taken. So that counseling is very important, yes. But to that person who never had the counseling, this has happened, what's the remedy for them?
I think we'd still go back to, you know, just involving a pastor to pray for them and just...
As Dave was explaining and saying here, which we know is the truth really. 3 months after we are married, and you are scratching your, you know, belly from that side, that place. In other words, you have gone too fast. People are not seeing how that is possible. What then for them?
You talked about the church manual. There is a way in which the church manual takes care of this, but by and large, there has to be an acceptance that, you know, this happened. Because you say there is one thing that you can never hide. There are 2 things that you can never hide. One is character, number 2 is pregnancy. Or one is pregnancy, number 2 is character.
Depending the third one is love.
Sorry?
Love.
The third one is love.
Swahili say, kikozi, you just cough. You can't hide it.
So I'm not giving an answer, but I'm just imagining this happened to us. So we, you know, you are hiding it so that you can wed, so that everyone else can see that, you know, we had a wedding. But now reality has dawned. You have to accept that,
you have to accept
know, this
and
happened.
ask for forgiveness from God, who already knows you, and try and make things right. Things happen, yes, people fall, but you don't stay there. Just wake up and you ask God to give you guidance and lead you through.
Yes. My only worry would be how the church takes it. Because if it's taken so badly to the extent that it can discourage people from being Christian, then that would be the worst place. Can people go through counseling after that has happened? If they can, then that is a process which...
Actually, the manner in which it is handled will determine the fate of these two. Whether they stay in church or they run away.
There are certain things that sometimes are done in church which must be done very carefully. Because they can discourage. They can make people really lose their Christianity very easily. And we want to draw people back to God. Because once you have known God, you have chosen the best thing to do. Need to be encouraged, need to be counseled. This goes on.
And that,
but that needs to be done very carefully. That was the concluding statement.
I have a question.
Redemption should be done in a Christian way. Yes, Tabi.
God has blessed you with 2 beautiful babies, right? And I believe you have rules in your house, right?
Yes.
You shouldn't do 1, 2, 3, 4. You know the rules. So what happens when your baby breaks a rule? That is for you too. I'm just wondering what happens.
No, it depends with how but you need to just relax and think it through. So that you don't hurt the baby or you don't hurt yourself. So think it through, then sit down and talk about it. Even if you're going to punish that baby after the punishment, but that thing at least, you do it in love.
But at least you have, because you will not, if your baby just comes here and takes the oranges and starts throwing them, you'll be like, oh, it's all right. Will you do that?
No, I can't do that.
Why? Because you want the best for your baby too. You want your baby to grow up in a good way. So, yes, we all make mistakes, and the church also has a manual. So when the church has a manual. There's a way that if a situation happens, there's a way a church deals with that situation. Let's also accept that. You know, at times we also become too hard, yet there are rules and regulations that have to be followed. If I've done fornication and I'm pregnant, let me accept, and you know what, this is the way it should be done. Many times we do those bad things, and yet we are the first people to complain and condemn the church. It is not right.
By the way, you are now married, but you fornicated.
Yeah. So why should I, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but why should I, you know, make people, you know, do the guilt trip things, like make people look at the church as bad, yet I did 1, 2, 3, 4. The truth is, I did bad, and I have to face the consequences. Yeah.
But
now,
when you're being corrected,
yes,
it should be done in love. That's
that is
the point.
true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But people are different. Yes, people are different. Just like you mentioned, you're going to talk to. Probably, if I had a baby, probably I would, you know.
If you're using the church manual, it is clear.
Yeah.
And even the church manual says that they should be redeemed in love.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want us to finish with, we go back to this premarital counseling.
Right.
Because there are beautiful things that are coming from there. One of them, remember, these are two people who are mature, getting into marriage, which they haven't started. So they are very immature in getting into this. But this premarital counseling is a very good preparation for them.
Right.
Yes. There's also the legal documents that maybe we could talk about, the marriage certificate.
Marriage certificate right now is recognized all over. You want a job, you looking for a job, they will want. I mean, so many other.
If I indicate Linda as my next of kin, they want to know the relationship. If I say wife, document.
Yes, anything happens, God forbid, she gets the benefits.
Yes.
But of course, customary is recognized in the whatever.
Why do people say if something happens, God forbid, yet we will die anyway? I'd rather die before her than Linda dies before.
There is expectation. There is an expectation here.
Yes.
These days, people rush into them legally because it's a legal thing. It is needed that we have it. But again, to prove. Because we live at a time when we expect that this family will grow and probably be rich and there are things to inherit, and my family may want to run me out down this one. They may want to grab everything, yet this guy has left me with children, so you want to protect whatever is there. The strength comes from the fact that you have this legal document. And so you have to band it around and show, yes, I'm the legal wife. And secondly, there are those who claim to be wives, but no dowry has been sent left, right, and center, and they may come to claim what is not rightfully theirs. This is probably what sums it up. But Dave, there's another concern, which I think we need to also talk about. Weddings. When they're done, and how they're done. The expensive weddings, they are cheap weddings, depending on the couple who are getting married. And when are they done? I know the ones that are very well managed probably are done on a given day, where the service starts in the morning and ends right in the evening. There are those who can only do it between the Sabbath school and the divine service, in that small window. And it gives you the feeling that that should be a very cheap wedding.
Yep.
Is it cheap?
Cheap as compared to maybe so-and-so's wedding.
Yes.
But there is cost implication to this. There is the certificate. You won't get it for free. You have to pay some money for it. Yeah.
That is the same.
Yes.
The cost of that is the same.
Yes.
Whether a big wedding or small wedding.
Yes.
Now, what do we tell our viewer? Should there be any worry on any wedding for any other
Tabi
time?
did a very good summary on that. You said cut your coat
according to your size.
If
you're this skinny like me, you cut your coat, and if you're this big like Linda, you don't want something that is really so tight on you or that is so big. Yes,
there's always life beyond there.
Exactly. You do a very big wedding. It is all right if you can afford it, but there is tomorrow.
The bottom line is that you have wedded.
Right.
And you're married. And that's okay.
Okay. Now, our final thoughts to our viewer. A word of encouragement to this young one, this young lady who are planning to get married, this one who has a baby, this ones who never wedded. So a word of encouragement. Let me start from Tabi.
Dear viewer, it is never too late to start a good marriage. Whether you have a baby, whether you do not have a baby, go back to God and talk to God and tell God. Number two, you can always approach your pastor and, you know, open up and tell your pastor the situation. I'm sure your pastor is going to advise you on what to do. If you are able to afford a wedding, sure, you're going to be able to do. But when you open up to your pastor and talk to your pastor is going to guide you, or your elder. You know, these are spiritual leaders that will definitely give you the right direction. Don't get there stuck and, you know, thinking your life is over and it will never start again. You still have a long way to go.
Thank you. Linda, Ephesians 5:23.
Ephesians 5:23, number 1. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. By the way, Jesus Christ is still in the business of saving you. It doesn't matter how far you've gone and how people are treating you. By the way, just your conscience, ask for forgiveness and carry your head high. And do, sojourn on, by the way, do what you can do, and God is going to be with you.
That verse confirms that even Christ confirms that there is a marriage, there is a husband and wife. Richard?
Thank you, Dave. To our viewer, you could be in different situations, you know, because you are ready to get married, you may not have the finances, you may not be ready in the view of the people or the congregation where you want to do your marriage, and the wedding for that matter. Marriage still works. It works out of a wedding, it works within a wedding. Don't really give up, don't get stuck because you cannot do a wedding. Have God first in your marriage. Everything else should be able to fall in place.
Thank you.
Don't be discouraged.
Thank you.
Still hope for that.
I just want to end with the same words that we began with, that goes like this: life is a crazy ride. It is a privilege to go through it with the right partner. If you're a young man, young lady, go through premarital counseling. It doesn't matter whether you have done it the wrong way, there is still God that can take you through. See you next time, lovely people. Bye.